What a winter, driven by your local Delaware Valley Honda dealers.
It's terrible. Snow after snow after snow.
The winter you keep wishing was over.
Every time you turn around, it's snow.
Now really is.
It's very, very cold and windy here.
Spring is finally here.
This is about the worst winter I've seen in a while.
But so is the destruction of this record-breaking winter.
There is a massive tree limb that has just come down.
It began with snow that turned a football game into a gauntlet. Cold that transformed the ocean's spray into ice and gave the PA Turnpike the ultimate crash test.
There's just smashing into everything.
Hope I never have to witness anything like that again.
NBC10 is there as Trenton makes and the ice jam takes. Power lines are rendered powerless. And a state governor saves a stranded driver.
The governor came out and actually jumped the car.
Now NBC10 First Alert Weather presents What a Winter.
A major snowstorm coming.
On air, online, and on your mobile device. Count on it.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of NBC10 First Alert Weather. I'm NBC10 Chief Meteorologist Glenn Schwartz.
And I'm meteorologist Sheena Parveen. Over the next half hour, we'll be reliving the winter that was.
And giving you a peek at what spring will bring now that it's finally here.
But first, a look at some of the records we set during this unforgettable winter.
Real tired. It needs to just go away. Go away.
Since the start of December, take a look at how many times it snowed. In December, January, February, plus 4 times in March.
We've only had one other winter with a higher snowfall total, 78.7 inches in 2009 and 2010.
And these storms are nonstop. In December, January, and February, we didn't go 7 days without getting snow.
Add up all those snow days, and this winter has slammed its way into the record books with a total of 67.4 inches. This is the second snowiest winter ever recorded.
We are deadly sick of it. Absolutely. We've had it.
Winter's been ridiculous. It's been cold, disruptive.
And the bitter cold. Since New Year's, we've counted 22 days where temps didn't warm above freezing.
I can't wait for spring.
So why was this winter so severe? There are no simple answers, but I've literally been looking around the world for possible clues. It may not have been the snowiest and was far from the coldest, but this winter was the most consistently snowy on record. We should be used to extreme winters by now. Each of the past 5 has either been extremely snowy or hardly had any snow. There hasn't been anything even close to the middle. It basically started around Thanksgiving with a bitter cold blast. Was there a weather pattern change somewhere around that time? We usually look at different parts of the world for connections to our winter weather. The main one is here in the tropical Pacific, either El Nino with extra warm water or La Nina with extra cold water. We had neither this year, so it's not a factor. The North Atlantic Oscillation, or NAO, is often a big factor in East Coast snowstorms. If it's negative, we can get big ones like the blizzard of '96. This winter, more positive than negative. Not much of a factor. There's been lots of talk about the Arctic recently. The AO, or Arctic Oscillation, was very negative during our record snowy winter 4 years ago. But this winter, about neutral overall. Not a big factor. So what's left? The North Pacific. A pattern of unusually warm water off of Alaska combined with cold water farther south created what's called a negative EPO, East Pacific Oscillation. And that changes the jet stream and correlates with this cold, snowy winter we had. What made the North Pacific so warm? It could have something to do with all the typhoons in the Western Pacific last year. 30 named storms, 6 of them super typhoons like Haiyan, one of the strongest ever. Haiyan was one of 3 super typhoons that recurved in the fall toward the North Pacific, bringing warm water with them. There's been some speculation that the rapidly melting ice in the Arctic is connected to our recent snowy winters. Well, there's a good and credible debate going on about that among the experts. And I'll continue to tweet and blog on NBC10.com about the latest findings as they come in.
This will give you an idea of just how tough this winter was. We had 41 crashes in ice. That's in a single pileup on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. 715,000 is the number of power outages PECO recorded during the early February ice storm. And PennDOT has spread 169,000 tons of salt this winter season. That shatters the previous record.
I'm Christine Bedell in Skyforce 10. This year's winter weather left behind pothole after pothole. Just like here on City Avenue, drivers have to navigate and swerve around them, trying to avoid becoming the latest victim of pothole-related damage. AAA Mid-Atlantic saw record-breaking tire-related help calls in January and February. The Philadelphia Streets Department says so far this year they've filled 11,000 potholes, more than all of 2013 combined. PennDOT doesn't keep track of how many potholes they fill, but how much asphalt they use. On one day of pothole repairs, PennDOT used 271 tons of it. In the Garden State, NJDOT has filled nearly 140,000 potholes since October, about 70,000 more than that same period last year. But the DOTs say all the money spent on road salt and pothole repairs this winter, well, that could prevent some crews from taking care of some more road projects coming up this spring. In Skyforce 10, Christine Bedell, NBC 10 News.
Potholes can certainly be the most jarring reminder of the winter of 2014.
NBC 10 Jersey Shore Bureau reporter Ted Greenberg has uncovered a website that plots exactly where to avoid the pitfalls of those potholes.
Someone described it as being deep like a trench, a pothole in Hamilton Township that we found by looking on a map.
You can't get down this road especially without hitting a pothole.
This winter's extreme weather has created a bumper crop of potentially car-damaging potholes.
It's awful.
That prompted a New Jersey-based company called Vertices to create this special mapping site on which people can report potholes they come across in the Garden State.
Everybody's having a really hard time trying to figure out where these potholes are as they happen.
Through the web or a smartphone app, users provide locations and comments about the potholes, even descriptions, to alert other drivers and repair crews. The site has taken off since it launched February 20th.
In just over a week, we got more than 600 reports of potholes all over New Jersey. Over 70% of those have been designated as dangerous.
That's great. That's great. I'll look it up.
We've posted a link to the site on our website, NBC10.com. It includes instructions on how to download the app for both Apple and Android devices. In Hamilton Township, I'm Ted Greenberg, NBC 10 News.
When weather's at its worst, NBC 10 is at its best. A couple of times this winter, we gave you 12 hours in one day of NBC 10 First Alert Weather. That's half your day. We call those First Alert Weather days. We issue them way ahead of severe weather so you can rearrange your child's daycare, pick up some groceries.
And you'll see more of them as we roll into the storms that spring and summer bring.
NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley explains. First Alert that we're issuing tonight for a storm late Sunday into Monday.
First Alert Weather Days are when you hear about potentially dangerous weather days ahead here on NBC 10.
Issued a first alert on Friday, and we continue to do that to make sure everybody is prepared.
While other news organizations are waiting for the National Weather Service, NBC 10 is using us, your local First Alert meteorologists, to lead the way in weather coverage days ahead.
We could see anywhere between 3 to 6 inches.
First, we issue an alert on air, online, and on your mobile device, warning you about a First Alert weather day and why.
Wouldn't normally do it this far in advance, but this is the type of storm where we do have pretty high confidence.
We have more live reporters in more neighborhoods.
Live in West Conshohocken.
Live in Mercer County.
Live in Wrightstown.
And extended coverage on NBC 10, as well as our digital cable channel, Cozy TV.
So we'll break them down for you county by county.
Our Skycam network zooms into your neighborhood. And you'll also see Future Track, which highlights when the weather event starts, when it peaks, and when it ends.
On First Alert Weather Days, NBC 10 is the first to warn you about severe weather impacting your life.
We help you prepare until the weather event is over. Next on NBC10 First Alert Weather, the big boom.
I saw a big ball of light.
It shook entire neighborhoods.
It caught me off guard.
And why we saw so much thunder and lightning this winter.
Plus, this winter's destruction is in your yard. What you can do to repair everything from the grass beneath your feet to the trees overhead.
What a winter, driven by your local Delaware Valley Honda dealers.
Everyone felt a big shake, a big boom.
Another chapter in our wild winter, February 19th, 10:19 a.m. Thunder and lightning so strong it blew out windows in a Roxborough neighborhood.
What I saw was a battle zone inside. All the windows blown out.
6 days earlier, NBC10 obtained this video, driving through a thunderstorm, just after some got about 16 inches of snow.
It's unusual to see so much thunder and lightning during winter, but unusually cold air aloft created that unstable atmosphere.
And cold air on the ground created ice jams on our rivers, and nothing captured it like the HD power of Skyforce 10.
I'm Christine Medella in Skyforce 10. One of the most memorable images from this year's brutal winter weather, this, the ice jams on the Delaware River. Large pieces of floating ice were carried downstream and built up in this section of the river that runs between Trenton and New Hope, Bucks County. It's a sign neighbors and law enforcement say they've never seen before. Now, this is also where the ice jam caused the Delaware River to overflow its banks and flood streets in both Trenton and New Hope. The U.S. Coast Guard was called in to travel upstream and break up the ice to prevent widespread flooding. A much different story now as the Delaware River returns to normal. In Skyforce 10, Christine Medella, NBC10 News.
From ice jams on the rivers to ice buildup on your yard, NBC10 First Alert meteorologist Brittany Ship asks the experts how to revive your green space.
With constant cold snaps and evidence of a stubborn winter season, getting your lawn ready for spring is going to be harder than it has been in the past couple of years. So here's a few tips to make sure your landscape is ready for spring. Record-breaking snow and freezing temperatures up to the final days of winter have pushed trees, shrubs, and lawns to their breaking point.
Very, very difficult. We have a lot of cleanup to do, a lot of branches. Lawns aren't in the best of shape.
This winter has outstayed its welcome, and the signs are clear. Damaged trees, windburned lawns, and even something called snow mold will all be challenges to erase the scars of winter in time for spring.
If the ice is constantly on the ground, it can make it so you have wet conditions underneath, which can starve the grass of oxygen.
Josh Baldoni from Baldoni Landscaping has tips to get your outdoor space ready. First, lawn care. Check for snow mold, patches of white or pink on your grass. Remove dead grass with a rake and don't fertilize just yet. You can put grass seed down, especially on bald spots.
Try and get some soil contact so you get all the dead grass out, and then overseed with a good mix of ryegrass and fescue, and then just wait a few weeks and let it start to germinate. Once soil temperature comes up a little bit, it'll start to grow.
Now to those damaged trees.
You see the one, it fell right onto the roof there, and we had to get it off.
Call a professional for larger trees before breaking limbs create more problems. With smaller trees, if you have the experience, you can trim the damaged low-hanging branches. For shrubs, don't trim the dead leaves now, but wait until the plants are stronger to prevent overstressing.
Some of the yellowing here, it's just too cold and it's just burnt out.
And when overnight soil temperatures stay above freezing, give shrubs a good soaking. This will help defrost the frozen roots.
A lot of work for the spring cleanups. Last couple of years have been really easy.
Well, it would be nice to get the kids to help out with spring cleanup, but they're all in school, making up snow days. Here's what schools are doing now, according to meteorologist Ted Florendo, and how you can be better prepared.
Snow meant a day off to sled and play in the snow. But when the snow days began adding up,
Had enough. They gotta go back to school.
So did the makeup days.
I don't want any more days off. It's just too much at this point.
Across Delaware, some students lost as many as 9 days to snow. They're making it up by adding time to the beginning and end of the school day. Philadelphia Public Schools canceled 7 times. so the district is shortening spring break to just 2. And Camden City School District is canceling spring break altogether. More than 26,000 new people signed up for NBC 10 text alerts, so they know when their child's school was closed. But we also got phone calls from parents who waited to sign up and were scrambling the very morning of a storm.
Here's how you sign up, and don't put it off. Go to NBC10.com and click on the weather tab and choose school closing alerts. And you can choose whether you want a text alert or an email alert. Then look under your county and choose your school district. If you don't see your school, time to bug the folks who run it. They can contact us at NBC10 School Closing at NBC10.com for more information. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Ted Florendo.
Next on NBC 10 First Alert Weather, lots of snow and cold this winter.
Snow after snow after snow.
Does that mean fewer bugs this spring and summer?
Plus, the deals you can get right now on next winter's supplies and the sales worth waiting for when we come back.
Polar vortex. That's just one of the specialized terms that became a part of our regular vocabulary this winter.
And some hoped such deep cold would spell trouble for nuisance bugs this summer.
We went to the Academy of Natural Sciences in Philadelphia to find out, since they have almost 4 million insects in their collection. Mosquitoes, ticks, fleas, we wanted to know if there would be fewer of them this spring and summer because of the bad winter. Turns out, no such luck.
Most insects that occur in this region have evolved in a temperate climate over long periods of time, tens of thousands, in some cases millions of years of being able to deal with temperature changes that happen during the seasons. So winter doesn't really present too much of a problem for most of our local insect species.
It's really this spring and summer's moisture and precipitation that will determine how many of those nuisance bugs are bugging you in your yard.
It's been a couple of winters since you really needed a snowblower and a big supply of rock salt. But this year they were hot commodities. So when's the best time to stock up? Is it now or should you wait? NBC 10's Jacqueline London went shopping to find out.
The way the cycles have been going with the snow, I mean, Hurricane Schwartz always says everything comes in cycles.
Like every hardware store in the region, Fisher's Ace Hardware in Drexel Hill had its own storm this season, a winter windfall.
So it was a very good winter because we had a lot of snow blowers coming in, and I'll tell you, it was pretty busy in here at some times. It was pretty hectic.
Frantic shoppers trying to buy what they didn't already have to dig out from the winter that just wouldn't quit. The best advice from experts: buy early.
Keep saying it's best time to get a snowblower would be a pre-order, like say this time of year pre-order and put a deposit down anywhere you go, and it'll be ready to be picked up say in October when the trucks are all coming in.
But how do you buy now for a snowblower when all you want to think about is springtime and firing up a charcoal grill?
It's good to think ahead of time because not necessarily, to be prepared. It's to have the peace of mind saying you're going to have one for next year versus not having one when the first snow starts coming.
If people wait until their power goes out to purchase a generator, often they're put off by the cost. Many are close to $1,000. But your out-of-pocket cost can be a lot higher if you don't get one of these in the first place.
An inch of wood or 2 inches of wood, depending on how high your heaters are off the concrete, is a very big deal because that 2 inches of water can be thousands of dollars worth of damage to your heaters and hot water tanks, even your washers and dryers.
Stock up on salt as early as October and make sure you have trimmers and chainsaws to cut back your trees now to prevent damage later.
Do you think because of the winter we had, people next winter will be more prepared, or will they fall back into their old habits?
I think humans actually are known as creatures of habits. The ones that are always, hesitant on buying things like generators and snowblowers, they're going to be the ones that are going to be, physically not, no pun intended, but left out in the cold.
Next on NBC 10 First Alert Weather, warm spring or cool?
High heat this summer or sweet relief? The NBC 10 First Alert Spring and Summer forecast is right after the break.
Welcome back. I'm NBC10 First Alert meteorologist Sheena Parveen with your spring and summer outlook. One area across the world that we look at to determine our weather patterns is the Pacific Ocean. Right now in the Pacific Ocean, neutral conditions are around. This is average water temperatures. So this is why we're seeing the pattern we're seeing, at least in part. But then as we go into the summer, we do expect the development of El Nino, which is above normal temperatures. That is expected by the summer. And what this basically does is it influences our air currents over the United States, which then tells us whether we're going to have above or below average temperatures and also above or below average precip. Now, for the southern part of the country into our western states, we're expecting from March to May above average temperatures. Around the Midwest right now, it looks like below average temperatures. For us, we don't have either one of these, so what we do expect is an equal chance of either above or below average temperatures. Sounds pretty vague, but that's the weather pattern in place, and also an equal chance for above or below average precip. Now, the chances, of course, do exist for thunderstorms, though, as we go into the springtime. Now, as far as May through July is concerned, here is what the temperature trend will look like for then. Above normal temperatures for much of the southern half of the country into our western states, even all the way up the eastern seaboard. This does include our area as we go into summer. So for this, we do expect above normal temperatures, an equal chance, though, for above or below precip. Now, we do have more likely chances for thunderstorms and also heat waves because of this, as the more heat we have, of course, contributes to more thunderstorms once any moisture starts to move in. Now, the Great Lakes we've seen all winter long have been frozen. Any wind that would come off the Great Lakes while they're still frozen would cause our temperatures to be slightly cooler in some cases. But as we go into the summer, once that all thaws out, we do expect above normal temperatures.
I'm NBC10.com's Allison Berto.
And I'm Vince Latanzio. You can count on the NBC10 First Alert Weather team to keep you informed not only on air,
but from wherever you are with our website and our apps.
With the NBC10 First Alert Weather app, get vital severe weather alerts as we issue them, so you can prepare for the spring and summer storms. Also, track the storm as it moves through your town using our live interactive radar. Know when the worst will hit and where the storm's going.
Using the NBC10 News app, you can stream live coverage of breaking weather events on the go.
We are going on a roller coaster ride once again with our
Plus, stay up to date with how severe weather is impacting your neighborhood.
And on NBC10.com, rely on Severe Weather Central to help you prepare. From expert tips to a severe weather dictionary to the latest video forecast, it's all there.
At your desk, on the go, no matter where you are.
Count on NBC10.com to keep you prepared for severe weather.
Well, that's it for this special edition of NBC10 First Alert Weather. What a winter we've had.
And you can count on NBC10 to carry you through whatever spring and summer may bring.
Yeah, and don't even get me started on last year's heat waves and record rainfall.
So for all of us here at NBC10, stay safe by staying with us and NBC10 First Alert Weather.